Hey, well, welcome to the Dream Labs, the Dr. Contrast Live. Good to have you on board today. And just in a little bit of a sidebar, I think last Thursday, we put together a little bit of a watercolor and automobile watercolor portfolio together just to see how it all went to get to and reception we'd get. I thought maybe today we'd just do a real quick little watercolor sketch here. We got a little line drawing set up here as far as that is concerned, already mounted on board. And I think to just walk you through with a very simple watercolor demonstration here today, and keeping the palette real simple with cobalt blues, ultramarines, sap greens, yellow ochres, just a real tight spectrum of palette here, and walk you through the process. And hopefully by the end of the hour, we'll have something pretty nicely squared away with a little watercolor sketch here, keeping it transparent and simple. And let's see what happens here. Just kind of get this thing started. We're just kind of throwing some little bit of sky tone water here to kind of brush it in just a bit. Soak the palette just a little bit here. That all lined up, and just begin to pick up a little bit of some ultramarine. Walk that in just a bit. A little bit of a little touch of Payne's gray. Nice and simple. Washing it in. A little more ultramarine here, just a bit more. Touch it in. Sky all set. That nice little simple cloud pattern here. Lay that down just a touch. That aside here, just put that down. And just gonna kind of walk in some of the real simple surfaces here. A bit of Payne's gray here, and we'll just kind of mix it up just a touch. Nice and soft. Get some of the building started. Just a simple wash. Just start very lightly here. Tone that in. That squared away. Just simple washes. A little more contrast here. Just a touch more underneath that. Kind of model the surface. Bit. Drop shadow on this thing. And same thing on this side. Just a nice little vignette change. There we are. It's an easy. Back in here and just put this thing through here. So set up just a little bit. Kind of blocking the big surfaces first here. Get some of the worrisome pieces out of the way. Simple stains. Back in. Let's get a bit of this. Sepia in this thing to just kind of blend a little bit here. Get some of this deep in the background. Just a touch, nice and simple. Form just a little bit here. Just this ochres in front here. Sepia tones and brush them in. Still farmland back in there. Get it up front just a little bit. Blend that in. Real nice and simple first. Going to work from light to dark, blocking this stuff in. A little bit. Catch some of that same here. Building. Got some more drop shadow now. That Payne's gray. Ochre added to it. moment. Square away. Pull some of that off of there. It's not as heavy. That's better. Again, that's just a simple start. You know, just kind of walking. Hey, how you doing there, Chip? Good to see you, man. How's everything? Doing well. I hope. Good to have you on board. And just going through a little watercolor study here today. Kind of blocking some shapes in first, and kind of see what happens with this, guys. We kind of walk through it just a bit here. Let's get a little bit of this up front here. A little of this ponding device in here. Foreground. Density here. And pop that back just a bit so it takes some of the strength out of it. We are a little bit better. And let's see here. Now we're going to get a little bit of this roof structure here. We'll just lay this in. Hope you're doing well there, Chip. It's good to have you on board again. Everything well? Hey, good. And doing well. Thank you. And let this dry. Just kind of follow up some of the handprints over this thing here. And I get this roof structure in here. Let's start with this guy. See, strong. Pop that just a touch. That's better. I'll get all the surfaces in first. Do it. Works up front. Like a little bit of definition up later here. Nice and simple. Blot that back. I'll lay this in lightly too into the light side. Upper. Roof in place. And with a real simple palette. Nice and generic. Did I manage? It's simple. Above all else. Gone through. Second. Here's a smaller brush. There it is. Same for number, just a little bit more definition in this thing now. Deeper with this. Hey there. Little as a roof surface in place. More definition, go stronger with some of this thing with it. Get on top of the roof just a touch. Door crosses. Building here. Chimney. There. Natural landscape in the background there. Slight details in place here. Back a little bit. Surfaces to work with here. A window there. Panes gray. Doorway in place here. Locking it in very lightly first. A bit of drop shadow. Oops, there it is. And here, and underneath that, shadow. Little by little, just kind of bring this thing off the page here. Oh, really good. You're doing well there, Chip. Good to have you on board. As I said, it's neat. Good stuff here today, Chief. Let's kind of walk in here. Let's kind of get body side. There it is. That little doorway in place on that second building. There. This thing. Again here. that just a touch. I'll set this back. I'll get this larger brush and kind of escape in some of this tree surface here. This guy up top, a little bit of a sap green to begin with here. Just kind of walk in some of these surfaces up on top here. Foliage. And some basic color. I can add some definition to it as we go here. Some of this really good, deep, darker green. I'll walk that in here. There we are. Just kind of roughing it in there, getting some background in. Hey, Demetrius, how are you? How you doing, Chief? Good to meet you. Markers. You make you. Yep, that's it. Light the dark. Typo. You paint. Yeah, same process. Almost identical, Demetrius. No question about that. Almost the same identical process. It's got a little bit of tone in here, so we can change a little bit of the mood here. Get a little bit of lavenders in this thing. A bit of texture change. This thing. On in place here. Good. The greens in this thing, kind of model it out. Switch brushes here for a moment. So, a flat brush here and get some of that same landscape back in there. There we go. I'm just going to bring the base color in on front here. Just see what happens with this thing. Let that dry a little bit. We'll come back and define it just a bit more. Let me get this finer brush here. There's the one I want. Definition in these guys. Turn this just a bit so I don't get hands all. Gears here, we get a smaller brush. We get dark greens in here. Lots of contrast on top of that layer. Do just a bit more. Front. Behind. Slowly build up some of the values here. Dark green. Strong impact up on here. Front. Here. And again over here. Keep bringing this forward just a bit more. High contrast front. Mark this back just a bit. A bit of sepia, or a number rather. Definition in the shadow. Chimney structures in. On top here with the food itself is little by little slowly coming together here, gang. What do you think? Making sense? And just kind of bring a nice little dark halo around this thing, and maybe what it might look like here. Let's try something else here. Let's try something a little bit more reflective sky here. More cloud pattern. Seem to jump a little bit more. Stronger. Gives it more character back in there. All right, so far so good. It's just slowly but surely trying to bring this thing together here. Let's get this, let's go back to this chimney structure here. If we can't get this, walk this back just a little bit more. Warm this up just a touch, keep my hands out of there. We should be okay, hopefully. Chimney structure's in place. Shadow definition form here. Let's slowly bringing up the values here. Cast shadow off that building. That's a bit, that kind of fade across the, tells where the light source is coming from. Here. Close this thing in just a bit Dark greens. Lone up there. Darker color. Trim that up. Your building defined here. Change brushes again just for a moment. Finish in here. Doorway. Bring the surfaces up just a bit. Switch gears again with a little bit of a lighter brush. There we are. So far, so good. Just kind of coming alive here, a little bit of color here. What do you think here, guys? Is it making sense for you? We get a little more of this contrast on top here. It's a little bolder. There we are. More guts to it. Missing? Separate. Separation right about in there. There we are. Bolder. In here. Up this lighter. Hey. See what's going on here. Just get this guy up to speed here. A little bit more of that, just a little bit touch of the brighter side of the chimneys. Change that here. Same thing on this end, just a touch more. More contrast from one side to the other. Work. Dark. Contrast the roof here. There we go. Now switch gears again. A little bit flatter brush. A little bit shortly, bringing this thing together here, just nice and easy. Bringing it up to speed, and let's see if we can kind of trim up some of the definition work here. Let's get a little bit more of this cobalt, a bit of shadow underneath this. Real subtle. Gotta be careful here, so I don't go too deep with this. Here. a little bit. Just a little bit more of this. Smaller brush again. Let's get a little more definition back in this area here too. Tone this really down in there. That papers are separate more than the other here. There we go. Got a little more contrast up front, let the rest of the thing kind of push back a little. There it is, just kind of coming right back into this thing. See if we can kind of get this thing to come more definition over here. Really careful here. Smaller brush, get some definition in that chimney. It's really kind of coming together slowly here. One, two, I don't want to eat that. Yep. Contrast in here. There you are. That helps. It's a little more definition. Right. Definition here. Okay. There. And just a little by little coming together here, gang. What do you think? Is it making sense? Someone needs to cut the grass. You got that right. Well said, Jip. Let's put a little more contrast up front here, kind of separate one from the other here. Let's see more. See if we can get a little more depth in this thing, just to kind of. Just a touch more of that real light sap green back in there. If I get this lighter brush, here it is. That really kind of a more of a Aurelian yellow back inside here, just kind of give it more in the background, up front, touch here. Now, last but not least, let's see if we can get one more little definition change here in some of the shadow across this roof here. Make sure, just keep my hands clear here. Bit more definition here. A little better. Always fear of this stuff running on you. Don't want to do. And just kind of a little bit better. And let this dry just a bit here and see what happens. Up with it. It's gonna dry just a little bit here. We're waiting for that, guys. What do you think? Just making sense at all? Coming together okay? Other than cutting the grass, Chip, we all right? All right, let's see what that did here. Let's see if we can kind of move along here. Keep things moving. See if we can get that definition here underneath that. Just a little bit of the overhang. Let's dry. This works here. And not go against us. That's better. That's a little bit better. Let's see if we can kind of rake that in a little bit of a shadow here. And I'm just kind of touch it up just a touch here. More roof definition. And there she be. Kind of a start there. What do you think there, guys? I'm in with some watercolor. No, not really. I want to do that. I could come back with a little bit of pen here, I think, Demetrius. I really would prefer to keep it all basically watercolor. See if I can get a little bit more of an accent on some of those chimney caps. And I think we'll call it a little bit more definition in this thing. Very careful here. This is where it gets delicate. Shadow underneath there just a bit. You just don't want to take too much of it here. I really don't want to push it. Just kind of let this go. You know what we could do? Let's try this. Famous little Windsor pen here. Let's see what that does. Side. Nope, it's not going to take it. Oh, it does. The drawing definition in this thing. That edge of that roof. Other side of that bridge. Okay. Maybe a little heavier weight. This is 3. See what happens with a 5 here. Thing to kind of crank at us just a little bit. Yeah, see what this does. A little better. Right, this guy just a bit. Fine definition in this thing. This guy to clarify ourselves here for just a moment. Let's do this. That mix it with a little bit of this. See if we can a little bit of set back there. So we get that back just a bit. Put that dark green back in place. Let's see what we come up with here. So far, so good. There you are, gang. It's coming together right. What do you think, guys? Coming along okay? That's a little bit of a touch here. So let's try this. I'm going to come back in with just a lot. So reinforced abstract is that. And just about do it. Let's go back into that same kind of combination here that we had. A little more. All right. What do you think? What do you think there, guys? Coming together here needs more UFOs. Hey, there you go. There you go, Chip. That'd be kind of cool to do. Let me see if I can just kind of plug in something here before we pull out a wrap here. And that same dark green, fill in some of the blank space here, and rest in some of this treescape here. Put more contrast up on top here. Should just you know full was a full full force foreground, and a little bit of a escape, and then into a bit of a escape behind it, and into a little bit of sky. So I don't know, guy. What do you think, guys? Think that's got it pretty well under control here. Other than the UFOs, I think a little bit of shadow there, a little more definition in some of the. It's not too bad. A little bit of effort here as far as the watercolor goes. And just a real simple set of palette work here to keep it nice and direct. But maybe just kind of let it go with that for the time being. Let's see if I can get to some of the little more drawing definition in other scenes. What I'll do first, let's do this. Just kind of dry it up just a bit here. If it moves too much on us here. Let's see what that did. And one last shot here. Let's see if I can kind of get this to work here for us just a bit. Gonna be a good move or not. Some of this stuff is pretty hard to work with here. Let's see if this guy is open. Yeah, let's see what this does, just out of curiosity. Maybe we can get this guy to kind of crank a little bit here. I'll just put a little bit more drawing definition in this thing here. Nope, not really. Really touchy. Nope. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, not bad. I think. There you go. That ought to settle it up there. That you got it. And it helped a little bit. Going to take some of the curse off the thing. What happens here when we take the tape off of this guy, remove this stuff. Oh, wait just a bit here. Let's see what we've got here when it's all said and done. Tape off. Well, we didn't believe in the other. And there's one. Two, three, and last but not least, fingers to work here. We're in good shape. There it is. A little watercolor study, a little vignette here. Took about maybe what, an hour or so to kind of put it all together, but just a real quick little value study. I mean, I really want to get a nice little dark surround to capture this building, and then put the rest of it into rest. Chimney work and so forth. The structure itself. And a little bit of the foreground green, a little bit of entry wall, and then off the distance, some really simple little landscape work back here. So again, I just really felt it was an interesting thing to do because last week, these the docs said, oh yeah, you got to sign it, right? There we go. Let's see here. This thing out here. Let me do this here. I'll put it down on this end here. How's that, Chip? You like that? There's got it. There it is. So thanks very much for reminding me of doing that. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Chip. Take care of yourself and have a great weekend. Thanks very much. Take care now. So there it is. It's a little watercolor study. It took about maybe an hour or so, and I always try to time myself within 50 minutes or 60 minutes to get a little study done here. A little bit on the deep side back up through here, but I wanted to get that whole thing to come around and cascade into this whole foreground, to hold that building together. But as I said last week, I put together a nice little watercolor portfolio of landscape work and some automotive stuff. And I thought, well, let's do a little demo today to show how it all comes together, a little bit of foreground work and the like. And when I look at this, I'm going to try one more thing here so we can kind of get this guy a bit more highlighted. There you go. Not to overwork it too much. That pattern is set up a little bit more, a little frailer, a little bit more highlight in it. There we are. That's a little bit better. A little bit of pen work really helps. Get right in here. More density up front. The entire form here, that really helps kind of take some of the presence out of this thing here just a little bit more. And that's better. More control, a little more highlight in this thing really helps. Just kind of take some of the first off of that deep dark. That's what I wanted, though. I wanted to get that thing to kind of embrace those corners and the corner and where the buildings are sitting, and that kind of worked out pretty nicely. Just kind of put more saturation right up front here, and we can let it go. That's better. There she is, and let's go ahead and gather these guys up just a little bit here. Last pass, get rid of some of that. Just a touch more of this guy. Get that in place. There we go. That helps. So there's a little study here. All said and done again for about an hour's worth of time, and really but I put together a little bit of a technique approach here and getting some work done to water here. Very simple. And hope you enjoyed as much as I did here. And thanks so much for tuning in here today, guys. And we'll probably see you on Thursday. I'll kind of switch gears and go back into some more automotive or some more product work. But we'll kind of move it from time to time, kind of keep the thing mysterious and change it from time to time so we're not doing the same thing over and over again. And again, I really appreciate your time here today to get this all squared away. And please take a look at my website at drcontrast.com. If you have any questions about the drawing and so forth, some information there might be of some help to you. And at the same time, if you have anything you want me to work on or kind of look at or kind of tune in with, please feel free to give me a nod at jim@drcontrast.com. That's my website area or my email address on the website. So please look into that. It'd be great to have you on board there. And last but not least, I just always end the streams with this, which I really think it's really critical to do so. Can't thank you enough for the time spent here today. Look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Hope at the same time, unless there's any interruption with appointments with my wife or whatever, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape this week to get that taken care of. And hope to see you on Thursday. Maybe we'll kind of switch gears and do some really, really interesting speed form studies. I haven't made up my mind yet, but we'll definitely change gears here from today's operation to what's going to take place on Thursday. So once again, I wish all of you all the very best. Hope you have a great day and the rest of the week. And hopefully we'll tune in on Thursday at the same time at 2 o'clock and pick up some information on the stream system here. Again, thank you so much for taking the time. Always good to have you on board. And last but not least, oh, by the way, too, we're really closing in on some of the apparel work for the website. So it's coming along very nicely. We want to make sure we're doing the right thing. We've got everything kind of lined up with the right t-shirt products, the right poster graphics. And the likes. Take a little bit of time, but I think we're going to do the right thing once it's revealed. I think you'll see why it's so to do so. So thanks so much again. Take care of yourself. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you on Thursday. And I will sign off with this because I think it's really critical to do so. It's the most important part of the whole stream. Never forget to dare to be great, because you are. Thanks very much, gang. See you on Thursday. Take care now. Thank you.